again, it's Aurora Cosplay. Today I will be showing you how to do this. Some scars for your cosplay. You might recognise Chris Locke.
Hello.
Who was punished Snake when I was quiet, so he had tons of scars on his face. And I did those scars. And we're going to show you how to get those done. So what do you actually need to put scars on yourself? Or get someone else to do it? So what I use is Mehron Rigid Collodion. I'll send you a link. I got this on Amazon. I think it was about £5. It's a little tiny bottle like this. It may take you a long way if you're just doing one scar. But the thing is with this, you have to layer it on. So doing his entire facial scars usually uses up about half a bottle of this stuff. Another thing you will need is lipstick. Yeah, it's just a good base to give that scar like a sort of a raw colour. It's kind of similar to your lip colour, so something that, because your lips are just a different tone of your actual skin colour, so that will be good to match. Another thing is some concealer. This is a concealer stick from Revlon for those who don't know anything about makeup. Just your flesh tone will do. And this is just to tone down the redness a little bit because it will be kind of bright and also very shiny when you put it on. You will also need a paintbrush or a set of, well, you don't need an entire set, but I have an entire set, or a makeup brush, a paintbrush to paint on the lipstick on your face or anything else, just to draw out the pattern that you need. You'll also need some pressed powder. This is loose powder. Comes all loose. Loosey goosey. I don't know why I said that. It's all loose. You can use pressed powder, something to mattify it, because when the rigid collodion will dry on your face, it will be very, very shiny. So you need to matte it up, and then you shall get this result here when you are done. And now we're going to show you how it's done. So the first thing you need is a coloured base for the scar, because scars are obviously a little bit darker than your natural skin colour. So I'll be using the lipstick that I showed you earlier. So it's kind of a bit pinky, sort of what a scar would look like. It's a little bit shiny, but that won't matter. Because after you put some makeup on top of that, it'll be fine. So I'm just getting my brush and just dabbing it onto the lipstick. And I'm going to draw out the shape of the scar, or what it would be. I'm going to just do a big one just for showing you sake, but you can put like many of these wherever you want on a face for showing sake. If you're going to put sort of an eye scar or a lip scar on, remember not actually to don't go too close to this part of the eye here, because it's very soft skin, so when you pull off the rigid collodion, it's going to pull the skin and damage it. So you don't want to get sort of very close to the eyes, and also it will make your eyes sting as well. You don't want to get close to the eyes, and you don't want to cover the eyebrows, or otherwise it will rip your eyebrows out, and you don't really want to do that.
Also, if you wear contacts, you might want to put them in after you've done all the scars, because putting it near your eye can make your eye feel a bit weird.
Put it in the camera. Now I've got the bottle of Rigid Collodion, and this stuff really stinks. It's got some like ether in it and some other stuff, so... and Chris will tell you, it kind of makes your eyes water and it makes you feel a bit weird. So use it in sort of a large ventilated room, and make sure you don't breathe it too much in, because it'll make you all dizzy and give you a headache, because it's really gross. And all you have to do is just paint it on where the scar is, and it will dry really quickly, and you'll put layer upon layer. I'm going to keep putting more and more on. It might look a bit crap because I can't actually see. So I've just put the first layer on. I'll wait for it to dry. And the next layer. The more the more layers you build up on it, the more the skin will contract into and make it look like it's all like dug in and horrible.
You're probably better off getting someone to put it on for you as well.
Yeah, you can do it yourself. I've never done it on myself. You've never done it on yourself either.
No. I could probably apply it, but it's going to look better if someone else does it because you're going to have a steady hand and everything.
You can apply each coat sort of about 20 seconds apart. It dries really quickly. So you can already start to tell that it's starting to dig in his skin a little bit, which may not be very obvious on the film. Just keep following the shape of the scar and then it will just build up over time. I'm just doing this. Another tip when you're applying this stuff is to put the brush back inside the bottle and close the bottle, otherwise the air will get in and sort of dry it up. And it will dry it up like this. This one has gone all goopy and I can't use it anymore. It's because I left the top on too long. The top off too long, rather.
Wasn't you using a paintbrush when you was doing that?
Yeah, I was dipping a paintbrush straight into it and not closing it. So that was my mistake. I guess you could try pouring it out into another container and then using a paintbrush if you wanted to, but I think you might waste a bit more of this stuff. And it stinks. Another thing I'd recommend is about 48 hours before you put this on anywhere your skin, trying to actually make scars and things like that, is do a skin test. Just put it somewhere on your arm and leave it there for a while, usually around 48 hours. Try not to wash it off. It will probably peel off. Yeah, it will probably peel off, but just leave it on there and see if you have a reaction. If you do have a reaction, do not put it on your face. That would be the worst thing ever.
It might leave a tiny red mark, but that will disappear after a day, which is why you should do it about 48 hours beforehand.
Yeah. When you peel to remove this stuff, you can either use some acetone, which is commonly found in nail varnish remover, or you can just peel it off.
Grip and rip.
Yeah. If it's not covering any hair, then that's sort of fine. It might leave a little bit of a red mark afterwards, but it takes off sort of a layer of your skin. Another thing as well is don't redo the scar in the same place you did a scar before. So say Chris went to a convention with his punished snake scars, I wouldn't put them in the exact same place they were the day before if he was going to do it again the next day, because that skin will be thinner than that new skin, because it's ripped off a bit of skin. It's disgusting, isn't it? Okay, so I finished putting on tons of layers. I actually didn't count, but you can sort of see it as you start putting more and more layers in. You can see how indented it gets, and you can stop whenever you're happy. So if you want like a really deep scar, you can carry on going, but if you want sort of something a little bit more subtle, then you can stop whenever you want. I've done a really deep scar just so you can see it properly on the camera. If you want to turn your head a little bit, just so you can see. And you can see at the moment it's like super shiny, so it's like proper buffy. So it's like in his face. So because it's like super shiny, oh, that looks really good. You need to make the shininess go away. That's when sort of concealer comes in. Whoop. Stick it in the camera. This is just a regular concealer stick from Revlon. You can pick it up from Boots. And you can use liquid concealer or just this solid concealer. I prefer this solid one. You want to get your brush again. I just cleaned it on my hand, as you do, and just literally dab the tiniest bit on, otherwise you'll start to actually hide the scar. Right, so now I put a little bit of concealer on it. It's still a tad shiny, so you just need to set it with some setting powder. This is loose powder. You can use compact powder as well. Doesn't matter. I'm using translucent powder. It's got a little bit of talcum powder in it as well. just to mattify it a little bit more. And I've changed brushes. This is just a regular fluffy brush that you use for eyeshadow or anything, but you can also dab it on with your finger if you need to. And that will really get rid of the shininess. And that's basically it. You're all done with scars. If you want to do more, then you can put more on your face. Just make sure you don't get underneath your eyelids or anything else. Don't get on some hair. If you've got some beard hair, like actual grown out beard, it's probably not a good idea to put it on top of that either. Another note is, if you've got a lip scar, so say if you've got a scar coming down here, that will sort of come off a lot easier than other scars. So during the day it might sort of crunch up a little bit, but the ones on your lip, because you're using your mouth a lot, they tend to flap off a lot. So that's it for my scar tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. You can like my Facebook page at facebook.com/Aurora Cosplays and follow me on Twitter at Aurora360. You can follow Chris Locke.
I'm at ChaosRight0 on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm sure you put the links down below.
Yeah, all the links are in the description. Also where you can find all the Rigid Collodion stuff and some handy places where you can buy makeup if you are not of the makeup persuasion. That's it. See you next time. That's what's to expect.
Tiny ball face.
Tiny ball face. Don't smile.
It's hard not to when you say tiny ball.